Hello everybody and welcome to another unboxing and first impressions video of the new Skullcandy Crusher ANC headphones. Now just keep in mind this is simply an unboxing and first impressions video and you can expect a full review on these guys sometime later on. But right now we're just going to focus on first impressions because there are a lot of questions surrounding these headphones, especially when compared to last year's Skullcandy Crusher 360s. Now, the first thing I want to talk about on these headphones is their build quality and their design. Now, the Crusher ANC look very similar to the Crusher 360s, but their build quality is completely different this time around. This time, the Crusher ANCs are mostly made out of plastic, and for the most part, they look and feel good. But they're very different from the Crusher 360s, who have a lot of metal and a soft plastic body on them, which at the end of the day, the Crusher ANCs, they don't feel or look worse than the Crusher 360s and vice versa. They're just different. Overall, I am pleased by the build quality on the Crusher ANCs, but the only thing that I wish was that since they're now mostly made out of plastic, I wish they were a little lighter, because right now they feel almost as heavy as the Crusher 360s, if not maybe a little heavier. But build quality wise, everything else about them is just fine. They don't crack or squeak when you expand the headband. Their headband actually clicks, it doesn't glide like with the Bose MC700s or the Momentum 3s, and actually the ear cups swivel in both directions. Now, the ear cups on the Crusher ANCs look very similar to the ear cups found on the Crusher 360s. They have a good amount of space and they look very deep, but they're definitely not going to fit everybody. Now, before I actually put these headphones on, there are a few other things that I want to point out about the Crusher ANCs when compared to the Crusher 360s. Now, the first major thing is that their bass dial is actually now a slider instead of a touchpad like on the Crusher 360s. Now, personally, I prefer the slider on the Crusher ANCs than the touchpad on the Crusher 360s, because whenever you try to adjust the bass on the Crusher 360s, you never really knew where it was because, all you have are these lights on the back. Whereas with the Crusher ANCs, you can actually feel where your bass adjustment is. So personally, I do like that they went back to the slider here. But something that I don't like about the Crusher ANCs is that their buttons feel very mushy. There isn't as much of a click when compared to the Crusher 360s. But also, really quick, I really do want to give Skullcandy a lot of props here, especially when it comes to their carrying case. The Crusher ANCs come with a carrying case that's very similar to the Sony 1000 XM3s. It's a very hard shell carrying case. You can open it up. There's a compartment for your cables. Overall, I really like this carrying case, and I think Skullcandy just knocks it out every time when it comes to the carrying cases on their headphones, because the Crusher 360s also come included with a very decent carrying case, and so do the Skullcandy Venues. Okay, so with all that out of the way, I'm actually going to put these headphones on for the very first time, and let's see if they're big head approved. Personally, I do have high hopes because the Crusher 360s fit me just fine, so let's see if the Crusher ANCs do as well. And here we go. Oh, hold on, we gotta extend this headband. Hold on. Okay. These ear cups feel cramped. These ear cups feel cramped. They're like pushing down on the outer edges of my ear. I don't think these ear cups are as spacious as the ones on the Crusher 360s. Hold on. These ear cups are pretty cramped when compared to the Crusher 360s. Hold on. Yeah, the Crusher 360s feel more spacious than the Crusher ANCs. Hold on, I'm going to try this out again. Yeah, they're doable, they're manageable, but ear cup wise, the Crusher 360s feel more comfortable, but clamping force wise, these headphones feel okay. Okay, so fit on these headphones was a little disappointing. They're doable, but I don't find them to be as comfortable as the Crusher 360s. That's what I'm comparing them to. But now we're going to try out their ANC. Now, just for a little bit of a backstory, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the active noise cancellation found on the Skullcandy Venues. But those are a pair of $200 headphones, And maybe these headphones are going to have better ANC because, first of all, these are $320 headphones, so they better. And also, Skullcandy has had a full year to improve their active noise cancellation technology. So right now I'm going to put these headphones back on. The ANC is currently turned off, and I think that these headphones have an ambient mode. But the problem I can point out with this ambient mode right now is that there's a lot of background hissing in the background. But right now I'm going to turn on this AC real quick, and I'm going to try out their active noise cancellation, for the first time. See if there's any cabin pressure and how well it does, blocking out this constant low frequency hum, which is what any pair of decent ANC headphones should have no problem doing. So we're going to turn it on right now. Okay. So that hiss is still going on, but I can't hear my voice as well as I could a few seconds ago. Cabin pressure on these headphones is not bad at all. It's very minimal. There's barely even any cabin pressure. That's a good thing. Now for the ANC, it's doing a pretty decent job of blocking out that AC unit. Now obviously, this is not a full ANC test. I'll do a full ANC test and the full review. This is just first impressions wise. ANC sounds decent. I have high hopes for this active noise cancellation. See how it does in the full test. But I just can't get over that constant hissing in the background. I'm going to turn this back off. Noise cancellation is back on, and you can clearly hear this AC unit. So first impressions wise, ANC on these headphones I think is going to be decent. Okay, but before I actually jump into a sound test, I do want to double check that these headphones have an ambient mode or not. So right now ANC is off. I'm going to turn off the headphones. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, no, okay, no, these headphones don't have an ambient mode, but there's a constant hissing in the background. What gives? That's not good. But now I'm going to go ahead and listen to a few songs with the Crusher ANCs, because obviously there are a lot of questions surrounding these headphones, especially when it comes to sound when compared to the Crusher 360s. Now obviously one of these questions is going to be, do these headphones have more or less bass than the Crusher 360s? Does the bass sound better? But personally, I also wonder if these headphones sound better in general with their bass feature turned off with the Crusher 360s. Because one of my complaints that I had with the Crusher 360s in my XP900N versus Skullcandy Crusher 360s review was, even though these headphones are a lot of fun to listen to, their bass gets old after a while, and if you want to use these headphones as normal headphones, unfortunately they don't sound all that great by themselves. So let's see if the actual sound quality of the Crusher ANCs has been improved from the Crusher 360s. Because if these headphones sound good even with their bass feature turned off, then these headphones are going to be much more versatile than the Crusher 360s. Okay, and we're back. I've actually listened to a few songs with these headphones, and in general, I can say that the Crusher ANCs sound overall better than the Crusher 360s, and there's a few reasons for that. Now, first off, even with their bass feature turned off, these headphones sound much better than the Crusher 360s. The mids aren't as shallow, and the highs don't get as ear-piercing or distort as much as the Crusher 360s. But when used with the bass feature turned on, one of the biggest things that I noticed about the Crusher ANCs is that they have better control of their bass. Now, the Crusher ANCs have as much bass as the Crusher 360s, where they're just going to insanely rattle your head, which is a lot of fun. But unlike the Crusher 360s, where if the bass is turned up too high, or if you're listening to some bass-heavy music, the bass on the Crusher 360s usually likes to get muddled out and distort the rest of your song. But the bass on the Crusher ANCs, it has that as much punch or as much kick as the Crusher 360s, but it just stays more well put together. It doesn't get muddled out. All you really feel is just this force on your head, just like rattling your head, but it's not really interfering with your music, which was one of my biggest complaints about the Crusher 360s. But while I was doing my sound test and using the control buttons on these headphones to adjust my volume and play and pause my music and switch between these headphones and the Crusher 360s, I just couldn't help but notice how mushy the buttons on these headphones feel. Like I mentioned earlier, since these headphones are still using physical buttons, they need to go all out on those physical buttons, because having physical buttons on a pair of headphones these days is starting to become a differentiating factor for casual people who may be looking for a pair of headphones. And also, I've started to notice that the leatherette on these headphones doesn't feel as nice as the leatherette on the Crusher 360s. It still feels okay, but it does feel plasticky like the Sony 1000 XM3s. Like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't feel as nice as the Crusher 360s. Alright, but I think we're going to leave it at that. These were my first impressions on the new Skullcandy Crusher ANCs, and like the Skullcandy Crusher 360s, these headphones are proving to be a lot of fun to listen to, but I think that with the addition of active noise cancellation on these headphones are going to be much more versatile, especially since they also sound pretty decent with their bass feature turned off. But at $320, unfortunately, these headphones do have to be compared against the big boys like the Sony 1000 XM3s, Bose NC700s, and maybe even the Sennheiser PXC 550-2s. Again, it's a great name. So yeah, just look out for a full review on these guys later on in the future, and also look out for a few other videos because, you know, these headphones are also going to be compared against the Sony XP900N. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.